Harry and your band for that rendition of Sketchbook. Great intro for the Hugs Not Drugs podcast today. Hello, everybody. This is John Barleycorn welcoming you to the Hugs Not Drugs podcast. We're not interviewing anybody today. We've had 4 interviews in a row. They've been inspirational, they've been educational, and dare I say, we've had a few laughs. But today, the Hugs Not Drugs podcast is about a different topic, a little bit more serious, but we're still going to have some laughs about it. Trauma, drama, mama and papa issues. Now, when we grow up, you usually have a mama and a papa if we're lucky enough. And if we're not lucky enough, we're raised by a mama. We may be raised by a grandparent. We may be raised by a papa. But somebody's raising us, and they're our first teachers. Addicts get recovery because they face their trauma, drama, papa and mama issues. Let me repeat that. Addicts get recovery because they face their trauma, drama, mama and papa issues. They go through their original pain issues. And as time goes on, life is difficult, and there's going to be pain and suffering in somebody's life. We're going to have thoughts that are negative. What do we do with those negative thoughts? Those negative thoughts can be considered triggers. And I just want to let you know that there is a way up and out. And those triggering thoughts are destructive for the recovering person if they do not do something proactive about it. And the best person I can think of to share how to deal with those issues proactively would be Hugs Not Drugs. Hey, what am I, chopped liver? No, you're not chopped liver, Dr. Uggs. But I expect you to interrupt from time to time. But if you noticed, no one's ever on this podcast asked you for your opinions on anything or you to contribute in a conversation. You just jump in. 10-4, good buddy. Because you guys stink up the room with these living skills that are spiritual. Hugs Not Drugs here. That's right, because hugs are better than drugs. Spare me. Never. Hugs Not Drugs here. Unhealthy triggers in the brain are inevitable for the recovering person, especially in the first year. And in my case, they were hot and heavy in the first 2 years. Yeah, I remember those glory days. I almost got you a few times, didn't I? You did, Dr. Uggs. The answer to that for me was to use my survival skill of humor. And that is my secret weapon. Remember in the family rules and that Harry Uggs had a skill of being the charming one. And so that was his go-to. Of course, he was laughing about things so much, they put him in the Laughing Academy. But be that as it may, when having triggers or destructive thoughts, I've learned in the 12-step meetings to name, claim, and process them. When triggered, I realize I have a small window before that small trigger can erupt into a shotgun blast and then a machine gun of explosions until I am lost in a tunnel of negativity, negative thinking, negative feeling, negative behaviors, and just more and more explosions that will lead to destructive thinking, feelings, and behaviors and actions eventually. Instead, I need to make a game out of it, and that's what I learned how to do. Make a game out of my triggers and ask some important questions and comments and statements about it. Like you always do with me right now, Huggy, huh? That's right, Dr. Uggs. You got it. You've named that tune. When the triggers are present, I like to say a statement and a question to diffuse it instead of going dark and going into that shame spiral. The sentiment that is very interesting, when I'm triggered, I say, this is very interesting. I've had this before. I've got it again. I now know what to do with it because I am Hugs Not Drugs. Ask the question, what are you going to do with this negativity? I have thoughts to learn from it. This is my education. I get an opportunity to grow now like I never could in when I'm comfortable. I'm uncomfortable, so now is a great learning experience. I don't want to lose this great learning experience. I want this unspiritual trigger. I'm going to embrace it because I love Hugs Not Drugs. Immediately, I want to change the thought, and I'm now switching from survival part of the brain, which is the back of my brain. The thought came from me from a place called the medulla oblongata, which is in the back of the brain. It's the soft part of the brain, just in between the spinal cord. The medulla oblongata, where's that located? Barleycorn here. That's located at the soft part of the back of the brain between the spinal cord. Something triggered the body to react to survive. But Hugs Not Drugs is enlightened. He's not here to just survive. Hugs Not Drugs is here to live lovingly to himself and to others. Hugs Not Drugs is so spiritual. What the hell is that? Hugs Not Drugs here. Spirituality, well, that's a 12-letter word, meaning a 4-letter word, love, L-O-V-E. I'm in the game of life. Hugs Not Drugs is not in the game of disaster. He's not in the game of drugs. Love always wins when in conflict. Conflict is good. Resolution of conflict is better. I can learn by dealing with my conflict healthily. So when triggered, I'm playing the game. Love to win. Now, we're no longer in the back of the brain. So when I stop in and I want to win by saying, that is interesting. I have that destructive thought again. I know that this trigger, what this trigger is about. This trigger is about destruction. It wants me back to using again. Why did I have the thought? What was the trigger? I want to change. So embracing the negativity in a positive way is the way up and out. Being constructive. I'm doing an opposite action. Like if I'm angry, and the opposite action would be peaceful. If I'm scared, the opposite action will be courageous. If I'm mad, glad, sad, if I'm sad, the opposite would be happy. Now my neurotransmitters have opened up and allowed me to travel to the back of my brain, to the middle of my brain, especially the pleasure centers of the brain. What are neurotransmitters? Barleycorn here. Dr. Uggs, don't play dumb. You know what neurotransmitters are. No, I don't. What are neurotransmitters? Barleycorn here. Google it. Use your AI. Hugs Not Drugs here. Dr. Uggs, you're my friend. You're my stupid friend at times, but a friend, as Dr. Gabor Mate might say. Who's Gabor Mate? Barleycorn here. Gabor Mate, Gabor, first word, Mate, M-A-T-E. Google Dr. Uggs. Back to you, Hugs Not Drugs. Okay, I'll mention neurotransmitters are part of the brain's life. Endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. They speed up thought to different parts of the brain, like the back, middle, and front of the brain. The front of the brain is the prefrontal cortex. That's where wisdom is in part of our brain. We need to have a very active neurotransmitter site for the front of our brain. The more activity, the more we can think correctly. The brain, quite frankly, can have a great life if we treat and feed our brains with good orderly direction meetings like AA, NA, CA, Al-Anon, ACOA, etc., etc. A good, healthy brain is physically okay, and we get physical health by proper diet, proper exercise, and proper sleep. And we also get good orderly direction from the meetings, the sharing at the meetings, and also a spiritual lifestyle of prayer and meditation. So just by making a game out of the trigger that I get, it's a great opportunity to learn. We have to get a high quality of life by sharing our pleasure center of the brain. Barleycorn here. So making negative thinking is a great opportunity to learn more about self. Hugs Not Drugs here, exactly. Love wins because we let go of the grand architect of the universe be in charge by choosing to take the spiritual path instead of the psychopath. I think I'm going to throw up. Oh my. Let's have a commercial and then wrap up.
All right. Here goes the commercial. The Road to Wellness Workbook. This workbook is written by John Forlenza-Bailey of Prince. This workbook is designed to provide education, emotional support, and inspiration to persons suffering from addiction. It offers step-by-step lessons to people striving to turn their lives around regarding abstinence, relapse prevention, family dynamics, and self-assessment to continue to discover self day by day. Recovery's up to you. Mentorships help. Journals help. You must exchange and surrender destructive behaviors for constructive ways of handling the day-to-day stressors or triggers of life. No one deserves to continue to suffer from active addiction. Get better, do the work. Also, there's another book by John Forlenza-Bailey that's been out recently called The Transformation of Dr. Uggs. It stars me, Dr. Uggs. Well, not really, but it's a story about Harry Uggs. And I turn into Hugs by my girlfriend, and then because she jilts me, I turn into Dr. Uggs for 10 years. Those were the glory days. And then I turn into Hugs Not Drugs because of the transformation of Dr. Uggs. It's inspirational and educational, and dare I say, funny as all get out. All right. So look out for that. That should be on Amazon, and Reading Class Books has it, so you can get that. I think it's also, you can listen to it too. All right, thanks a lot. Well, you can listen to it on the first Transformation of Dr. Uggs, the Hugs Not Drugs podcast. We do a rendition of it at that time too. All right, I'm getting ready to turn it over to John Barleycorn. He's got a little bit of wrap-up that he wants to do.
Thank you. Okay, let's wrap up this puppy by talking about what we talked about. Hugs Not Drugs really gave a good rendition, I thought, of the fact that we're going to be triggered if we're traumatized. And trauma and drama from mama and papa really do occur. And it's just a natural thing for addicts and alcoholics to be have trauma and drama in their life. People in recovery deal with trauma and drama differently than active addicts and alcoholics. Most alcoholics and drug addicts, sadly, will die because of their disease. Recovering addicts and alcoholics live fairly miraculous lives as they work for it. So, Hugs Not Drugs has made a game out of his triggers to use again, and his abuse issues and his abandonment issues when they tried to put him in a squirrel cage and get him go down a rabbit hole of despair. Instead, he makes a game out of it and learns from it by asking himself, well, I'm having these negative thoughts. I've had these negative thoughts before. I know how to deal with it. What do I need to learn from this, and why did I have this thought now? So he's being very kind and appreciative to his negative thinking so he can learn from it and win by the concept of love. Love of self to love others. It's very simple, but it's very difficult to do. So God bless Hugs Not Drugs. Also, I Barleycorn here, along with Hugs Not Drugs, we read a lot in the morning. We do a lot. We learn through our ritual space, and the ritual for Dr. Uggs and well, not for Dr. Uggs. He hates the readings and stuff.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Well, but you put up with it because Hugs Not Drugs in John Barleycorn and me are 2 over 1, so you never get to be dominant. And what we do is we learned this a long time ago from our sponsors, to get on our knees and pray in the morning. So there's a set of formal prayers that we say. We got that from a retreat that we've gone to about 40 years now, a CDA retreat in Maryland. And so we get these prayers and we say them, and then we say read about 5 different books. I'm not going to read 5 different books, and I'm not going to read all the prayers that we say. But I would like to read something from Touchstones, a book of daily meditations for men. I'm going to change one of the words, men, to just people, because this is a quote from Ernest Becker, who won a Pulitzer Prize at the age of 49 when he passed away of colon cancer. Denial of Death, I think was the book. And he writes, men are doomed to live in an overwhelming, tragic, and demonic world. Let's change that. People are doomed to live in an overwhelming, tragic, and demonic world, by Ernest Becker. That's what he says. And the meditation is this. Life is difficult. We never reach the point where our path is free of obstacles and hardships. And regardless of how much we grow, how faithful we are to our program, nothing changes the fact that death is still there and for us. As painful and hard as it is, life is only deeply meaningful and worthwhile while we submit to its reality and live in a spiritual way. Boy, truer words were never spoken for a recovering person. Huh? Let me read that again. As painful and as hard as it is, life is deeply meaningful and worthwhile when we submit to its reality and live in a spiritual way. And that's kind of the crux of what we try to teach today and inspire today and be humorous about today in this podcast. After we stop living in denial and accept the hard facts of life, we see that we need each other. We need relationships to stay sane. We need to pull together and support one another the way people do in difficult times. Rugged individualism isn't always good for real people in the real world. We need relationships so we can celebrate and make music and encourage one another. We need relationships so we can laugh and make jokes and tell our personal stories. We need to stand together to oppose the destructive forces around us. And there's a meditation here. God, help me learn to have relationships with my brothers and sisters. And that's kind of like what the Hugs Not Drugs podcast is all about, isn't it? We need relationships so we can laugh and make jokes and tell our personal stories. We need to stand together to oppose the destructive forces around us. Together we can. So I hope everybody has a good day and enjoys their life today. And peace and love to everybody. Brothers and sisters, take care out there and enjoy. Take us out, Harry, with the end of sketchbook. You the man.